Then Now Forever Ray explores a wide array of topics surrounding Bucknell athletics and the lives of Bucknellians near and far, with live interviews hosted by Senior Associate Athletic Director Joel Moersch. Then Now Forever Ray highlights the university's proud tradition of excellence in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in life after graduation.
Welcome to the show, Claire Mensi. Claire, let's get started by talking about your lifelong dreams. Was it always to play college soccer?
I kind of realized in middle school that that was definitely the sport for me. I mean, I knew early on that soccer was the game for me. I got involved in a few other sports, but I know everyone gets mad at me for not playing basketball or volleyball because of my height, but I knew kind of from the get-go that soccer was for me. So then when I really had to make a choice kind of about sports, soccer was obviously definitely the way that I was going to go.
So you mentioned your height. How tall are you? Because Boston College has you listed as 6'10" on their roster right now.
I'm gonna have to get that changed, but I am 6 feet tall. But with the whole cleats and the getup and everything, probably much taller on the field.
Well, I know you make an even bigger impact. You did for the Bison. Over the
Thank
last
you.
4 years, what's your favorite memory at Bucknell off the field?
Off the field, probably this past year, I was able to live downtown with 10 girls actually, majority of which were our freshman year field hockey roommates. So that was awesome to kind of full circle moment from our freshman year roommates given to us and then kind of then come to senior year now. So I actually had a volleyball roommate who also lived with us. So we had a mix of girls that didn't play sports and then field hockey and then volleyball all in one house. And it was the best year of my life
So
there.
actually talk a little bit more about that. So you had student athletes from various sports. Did you end up finding yourselves going and actually going to their games and supporting them as well?
Yeah, so we're actually one of the few sports on campuses that don't room with our own sport our freshman year. So I think kind of when you come in freshman year, you're kind of wishing you're with your own sport. And then honestly, come now, it was probably the best decision our coaches ever made. It's awesome to just off the bat get involved with other sports from the second you step on campus. Since you're with your team so much anyways, it's honestly it's sometimes a nice little break after practice and kind of weeks on end of being with each other. But we are so supportive of our field hockey and volleyball friends. We go to all their games. We traveled to Penn State to watch them when they played in the NCAA tournament too. We watch all their games on the road. I know when they were in the Patriot League tournament this year, we were waiting to get on the bus and we had the game set up and the whole team was watching. But I know a lot of our teammates live with other sports throughout our 4 years. Field hockey definitely being a main one. We love them so much, so it's been awesome to do the past 4 years with them.
A life lesson you learned from the Bison coaching staff.
Um, this is one I'm sure my teammates will laugh when they hear this, but I've said it quite often. But never be too big to do the small things. I think from being a member playing on the field, but then also being injured and being off the field, I think I've learned that it's the little things that kind of make our program run. And without those little things getting done, we would not be where we needed to be. Whether it's just carrying gear or getting your meal orders in on time or just kind of getting yourself together, but then also making sure that your teammates have everything that they need and that you're reaching out to them and if they need help. So I think that's something that makes our program really special and that everyone's really willing to chip in and kind of help out with the whole rather than just themselves.
Who's the most influential person you met at Bucknell, and how did they help impact your life?
That's a tough question.
Take your
Most
time. Feel
influential
free to take your time.
most influential person. I mean so many teammates, but I think probably one of my co-captains in the past, two of them actually, probably Ali Rousseau and Bree Kropanak. They were huge leaders for me when I stepped onto Bucknell's campus. Ali was a captain for 2 years while I was on the team, and also Bree was both. So I got to actually co-captain with Bree myself. So those were two leaders that were so influential to me, just kind of on the field and off the field, and were so supportive with my injuries and kind of helping me through everything, and then also kind of pushing me to be a leader myself and kind of find my role within the team. Not only when I was on the field, but also when I was off and I was watching. So those were two huge players and people in my life, and their families are so involved still too, and they come to our games and they're so supportive. So I definitely would not be here without them.
So you mentioned about the families. I'm gonna cut away for this for a second. I had the opportunity to have a really nice visit with your dad, Dennis,
Hmm.
and we got to talking about the kind of the bond at Bucknell and how
Hmm.
special it is. The funniest part about it is we actually weren't talking about the team and the student athletes. We were
Yeah.
talking about the parent group.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
talk a little bit about that and just kind of their
Oh.
togetherness. Do they get that from the team, or
Oh my
is it the
gosh.
other way around?
This year has been unlike any other. I mean, every single year since I've been on the team, our parents have been a huge support system. I mean, every single game that we go to, no matter where we are in the country, we have a full set of parents there. They're amazing with the tailgates and the pre games and kind of anything that we need. They're always there for us. And even if I know I was very fortunate to have my family there for a lot of my games, but I knew if I didn't have my parents there, there were a million other parents there in case I needed anything. But this year was unlike any other. I don't think I've ever experienced a parent group like I have this year. The unwavering support and just kind of rah rah Bucknellness was unreal. I mean, we got to spend so much time all together, and this was our first full season since my freshman year. I guess no, my sophomore year. But the parent support this year was unreal. I mean, we have gotten to hang out with them outside of soccer. They come 2 nights before a game just to hang out with us. They'll stay a night after to hang out with us. They're honestly the best. I We sent a big thank you just to our parents at the end of the year, us as seniors, just for this year itself. I mean, I've never experienced anything like it.
So you mentioned the tailgates. Is it true that the parents tailgated your ring ceremony?
They did tailgate in the on Moore Avenue. They were out in the parking lot before the game, all tailgating, and we were actually not really invited. I mean, we were, I guess, but I asked my parents before. I was like, "Okay, so I'll see you guys like 20 minutes before. Like maybe you guys can pick me up from the hotel." And they were like, "Oh, we're going to the parking lot with the parents. Like we have somewhere to be." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just walk, I guess." So the closeness between all of them. I know the moms have a text group chat and the dads have a text group chat. They go golfing before our games. This group of parents was nothing like I've ever experienced. They were so amazing.
So sticking with the rings, do you ever wear your championship ring? Be honest.
So I used graduation weekend as an automatic reason to wear my ring the entire weekend. We did take a lot of pictures in them. And our field hockey roommates won the championship last year. And one of my best friends on the basketball team, I got to take pictures with her. So we all have our rings. I don't wear it quite often. It's quite big and heavy. But a great reminder. Obviously, I have it up in my room right now, but definitely grad weekend, I wore it the whole time. Was very proud of that.
So you mentioned grad weekend. It's been
Hmm.
about 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Have you had a chance to relax, to breathe? I know you have a big fall coming up at Boston College.
Hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
Grad weekend was an amazing weekend at Bucknell. Honestly, one that I'll remember forever. I mean, everyone that we know came back for us. And kind of all the parents of like the different sports and our friends that don't play sports that we haven't gotten to really see all year. I know we're very fortunate since we play sports that we get to see our parents quite often. But for the people that we didn't get to see, it was awesome just to kind of all be together. One of the best weekends of my life, honestly, at Bucknell. It was just so special. Our coaches got to stop by and hang out with us for a little bit, and we kind of got to enjoy everything together and all the Bucknell traditions that they have for us. I mean, I guess I really didn't realize how many senior traditions Bucknell has. And I had friends at other schools that said something to us at one point, and they were like, "You guys have so many senior events." And I was like, "I guess we do." And it really makes the whole weekend so special. But I have had a little time to unwind. I don't go a day without missing my teammates or Bucknell in general. Think about it every day. Our team still texts in our group chat, and we kind of keep each other up to date. I know a bunch of us have already seen each other. I'm going to see one of them tonight, actually. So it's a group of people that I never not want to be able to communicate with. I mean, they're so amazing, and I can't even think about them going back to campus in August and me not going with them. That's just a crazy concept that I can't process and probably won't until August 1st rolls around. But it's been nice to kind of unwind, get some time with my family and my sister, who I don't get to see a lot because she's at school. But it's been great to be home. But obviously, I'm still training and hitting the ground running because I'm not a kid that can take too much time off. I get very anxious about what I have next. So it's been nice, but I'm definitely hitting the ground running.
So let's talk about the transfer portal.
Hmm.
And obviously, that's the ever changing landscape of college athletics. That's
Yep.
become a very big thing.
Hmm.
We're all so happy for you that you're moving
Thank
on
you.
to the heights and you're going to play for Boston College.
Thank you.
But talk about that process of when you
Hmm.
entered the portal. Were you contacted by a lot of teams? Was
Mhm.
was there some nerves, some anxiety there in the whole process? Just walk us through that.
Yeah, so I entered the portal right after we won the Patriot League championship, actually, and right before we headed out to Rutgers for the first round of the NCAA tournament. So my plan was to enter the portal. I talked to Kelly at the beginning of the season, and she was like, "We don't need to worry about that until the end. Don't worry about it now. Focus on our games." And probably got a little stressed too early on about it. And she was like, "I just need you focusing right now." She's like, "Don't worry about later. We'll figure out later." She definitely eased my mind about that. But um, I entered the portal, pretty seamless process. Everyone at Bucknell was so helpful. Reached out right before the Rutgers game, and I started getting some emails as soon as I entered the portal. Like within the first few days, I was hearing from all three divisions, kind of all over the country. It was really cool to kind of just see when you're back in the recruiting because we haven't done it since I guess sophomore year of high school. I got recruited to Bucknell, so it's been a while, definitely, but it's so different. I know the undergrad recruiting process is years. Like you go to camps, you reach out to coaches, you go on visits. You really kind of need to figure out where you want to spend 4 years. But as a transfer, I mean, kids have 1, 2 years. I'm lucky enough to have 2, but when you're only somewhere for a year, it's a little easier for you to just kind of move to a new place. You're like, it's just a year. Like I can do it much differently. You've experienced your 4 years, you did what you wanted to do. So now it's kind of your next step and where you want to go. But entered the portal, everyone was awesome. I reached out to I think about 10 schools on my own. But it's crazy when you reach out to those schools, you kind of really realize once you send the email if you actually want to go there or not. I think I had some ideas in theory being like, oh, I'd be okay with going further away, or maybe I'll just do something totally not in my wheelhouse for 2 years. But then when it comes down to it, I'm a homebody. So I spent a lot of time out in the Cape in Massachusetts. So kind of once BC was on the table, it was a go for me. But I went on about 2 visits right over winter break. So right when we got out of school, I went to one school first, and then 2 weeks later, I went to BC. And 20 minutes into my visit, I looked back at my mom and I was like, I need to go here. Like, this is it for me. So by the end of my visit, my new head coach, Jason Lowe, who's amazing, and Taylor Schramm and Jamie Cronick, who were awesome throughout the whole process. By the end of the day, he was like, what'd you think? And I was like, this is where I need to be. So whatever I need to do to be here. And they were awesome with it. So it was a pretty seamless process. Honestly, took less than a month, which was crazy to go from getting recruited for 3 years to just then 1 month. But I'm very excited, and the fact that it's so close now, I can't even believe it.
So, what about your mentality going in? You're obviously going from the Patriot League and
Mhm.
from a very successful team in the Patriot
Mhm.
League to the ACC. So,
Yeah.
with that, change in the competitiveness,
Mhm.
Do you still go in with a mindset that you had during the season here at Bucknell your
Mhm.
senior year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a huge jump. I think when I was getting recruited by these bigger schools, all of a sudden it was just the speed of play. It's so much faster. The girls are bigger, girls are faster. It's just everything's moving at 100 miles an hour. And that's what I felt like at Bucknell. But now it's like, now you're playing against really big dogs. So, I mean, the Page League was such a great setup for me. I mean, I had a great year with my team and I owe it all to them. Any sort of success, I owe it to them. And they pushed me constantly. But I think training right now, it's just me against myself. And I really need to be pushing myself because there is a spot open in my position to play. But it's not handed to me. Like, yes, I played 4 years, but it doesn't have my name on it. So I'm willing to put in the work and I want to put myself in the best possible case scenario for me to get there and do what I do. And if that's what they need and I can help them, then I'm there to help them. But if it's something that I need to learn and grow into, then that's also okay. But I'm not going to stop moving forward. I mean, I've had my fair share of setbacks, but I think I've just learned like you really just have to put in the work, and it's on you at that point. Anyone can help you. I have trainers and coaches who have pushed me and have given me um, so much of their time to get me to where I am. But at the end of the day, it's me who's running those sprints and getting to those tackles. So it's honestly it's up to me at this point, but it's definitely tough. I mean, I wouldn't be lying if I said I was a little scared. But I think it's good for me. I think it pushes me and it makes me work harder, honestly.
Now, speaking about those setbacks,
Mhm.
I know this is a sensitive topic for
Okay.
you. I can only imagine, the possibly a little self doubt, the
Mhm.
frustration, everything that's associated with injuries and
Mhm.
overcoming injuries. And you had your fair share at Bucknell.
Mhm.
However, you overcame those injuries to have a spectacular end to your career
Thank you.
here. Did this adversity change your outlook at all on how you approach the game and how you approach life in general?
It changed everything for me, honestly. I mean, I went through playing club soccer, town soccer, club, high school without really any really big setbacks. I mean, I broke my foot for a little while, but honestly, I'd never been out for more than 6 months. So to get to college and you hit the ground running and you're so excited, there was another spot open and I wanted it. And I worked so hard that summer and I was fortunate enough to be a freshman that played my first year. I was so grateful that Kelly trusted me and such a big role in the back. And then to have that taken away so quickly was, I didn't even really know what was going on. I couldn't really process it, but I was a freshman and was just so eager to get back on the field. And then I worked really hard to get back out there. I really just had to trust what I was doing. And I had to trust the people around me that I was putting in the work and the days that you didn't think you were making any progress. I mean, I cried in physical therapy probably so many times. So to Ryan in the Singer physical therapy and to Josh, who just kind of eased my mind with everything. I mean, I owe so much to them. I've thanked them so many times. But I just really had to trust that I was moving forward, even though I might have felt like I was plateauing at points. But then you have days that you make such milestones, and you don't realize like those little things, like walking up the stairs or just walking normal. That's a huge milestone. And to me, when you're used to playing Division 1 sport, that seems like nothing. But when you can't do it, it's kind of crazy to then look back on it. But I think the second time around when I toured again, that one really hit me harder. I was definitely really down about it. I obviously wanted to do nothing more than play. It's why I probably should have told Kelly that I tore my ACL during warm up and didn't tell her until 15 minutes into the game. Could definitely notice, but I just wanted to play. I just really wanted to get out there. I mean, I was out for so long, and the second, the first surgery took about 10 months to recover. Second one was about 17, so that one definitely hurt. So it changed everything for me. It changed my perspective on how I look at everything, that you really can't take it for granted. I know that sounds very cliche, but it's so true. I mean, you only get 4 years to be at an amazing university like this and to wear a Bucknell across your chest. And I would have done anything to be out there for all 4 years. But I mean, there's blessings in disguise, like the fact that I got 2 years of eligibility out of COVID and my knee, to now go on and to play more, which as soon as we finished our season in the fall, I knew I wasn't ready to give it up. Like I knew I really had more in me. So the fact that I was able to then train with the team again and like not let it go quite yet, probably stretched it out for every second I could at Bucknell. I really did, but I'm so grateful for everyone that's been with me throughout this process, and it's really changed me for the better, I think.
Now, switching gears
Yeah.
to the student part of student
Mhm.
athlete. So you're a psychology major
Mhm.
who's going on to pursue her MBA at
Yeah.
Boston College.
Mhm.
What is your career goal when it's all said and done? What do you hope to have accomplished in your career?
That's a good question, and I think I'm gonna use my next 2 years to really pinpoint that answer. But I was very lucky to be in the management minor program at Bucknell, which got instated. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year. But I spent the COVID summer taking online classes with the Freeman College of Management and was able to get my minor. And that whole experience really exposed me to an industry that I think I really want to get into. We did a whole consulting project for the whole summer with Goldman Sachs and their 10,000 Small Businesses initiative. And it really was just super eye opening to me that I'm a people person. I mean, I didn't need that to tell me that I'm a people person, but it really showed me that I need to be in an industry where I'm interacting with a group and that I'm directly helping people themselves. So I'm not really sure kind of what I want to get into specifically, but that whole experience that allowed me to get my management minor was so influential and definitely something that I'm going to kind of look to exploring while I'm at BC.
Well, being a people person, I know an industry that works well for, and that's fundraising. I wanted to ask you about the senior gift
Yeah.
drive. You generously volunteered to represent all the women's sports as kind of the leader for the
Hmm.
senior gift drive. Where did that come from? And even a little deeper into that, what is your passion for philanthropy or giving it back, paying it forward and giving back?
Yeah. So Todd Newcomb so graciously nominated Taryn Earl and I. Taryn's one of my best friends at school, so it was honestly awesome to kind of lead this project with him. Um, I think it's so important to give back to the people that gave so much to you. I mean, Bucknell has given me so many things that I can't even begin to thank them for. So just this small kind of aspect of philanthropy was so easy for me to say yes to. I mean, I could have never said no to that. So to be able to get involved with my other student athlete friends and just people that I don't know. But it was so awesome to kind of just get to reach out and be involved with those people and kind of represent the student athlete community when it came to the senior gift drive in general. So to be able to represent that group of people on campus was amazing. And I mean, I'm very grateful for that. But I'm pretty known for, I'm usually worry about everyone else before I worry about myself. So that's something that I've taken with me for a few years. And I think Kelly at one point told me, I think it was when I was recovering from my second surgery, she told me, she's like, you need to just take a second and worry about yourself. She's like, I know you're very concerned with the team and what's going on, and I know you want to be there and be involved. She's like, but go do what you need to do. And I think that was huge for me because it just kind of was a little bit of a wake up call and was like, I need to deal with myself. I need to deal with my knee, and I need to get back to doing what I love so that I can be there for my teammates. So just something as simple as the senior gift drive was awesome for me to be able to represent the athletic program in general, which is so prestigious itself. But then just to be with my fellow classmates and just kind of give whatever I can at this point. I mean, I can never repay Bucknell for everything that they've given to me, but just something as small as that was amazing for me.
Well, we can't thank you enough for everything that you
Thank
did
you.
to support and represent the senior
Thank
class.
you.
Last question I
Yeah.
have for you is if you were working as a student
hmm
ambassador, what would you tell an 18-year-old recruit who was looking at Bucknell?
I mean, so many things, but the biggest is that I think I said this in my little graduation interview that Bucknell's home. There's so many special things about this place that you can't even begin to pinpoint. And honestly, it took leaving. Every time you leave for a school break, you always know you're going back, and then all of a sudden, when you're not going back for the full school year, it definitely hits differently. So that place has people that make it feel like home, the professors that make it feel like home, the environment, the small class sizes and the community aspect of it. You have locals coming to your games, and when you're in town, they notice that you're wearing your Bucknell soccer shirt, and they're so proud. And they mention the Patriot League, and kind of just we've gotten our name out there now. Like Bucknell's, it's an amazing place. I would do anything to do 4 years again there. Any chance I can get back. Any chance I can to get back onto campus, I will be there in a second. But it's just the most amazing place, and I couldn't have imagined 4 years anywhere else.
Well, Claire, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to visit with
Thank
you on
you.
the show. Again, thank you so much for being on. You come from a wonderful
Thank
family,
you.
and we just sure appreciate everything that you represent and all the different ways that you've helped Bucknell.
Thank you.
I know our colleagues on in the Heights won't appreciate this, but we're going to continue to keep telling you Ray Bucknell as you accomplish great things in your life, and wishing you just a wonderful fall season.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Go Bison.
Thank you.